If there are any solution, if not, what are we going to do? Commit suicide? But can we see the end of our suffering by committing suicide? No. Then where is the end? And now you can understand why the Buddha says there is unsatisfactoriness in our life. No one can deny this. Whatever we gain, however we enjoy, whatever method we adapt to enjoy our life, in the end, there will be some sort of unsatisfactoriness, complaint, grumble, if not create misunderstanding. Why it is like this? Then, different religious groups give different interpretations. Why do we suffer? Many other religious groups try to convince us, console us, advising that for our suffering, we are not responsible. Somebody is responsible for our suffering. There are two powerful forces in this world. Although we cannot see, we cannot understand, yet we believe. Two strong forces, God and devil. No one has seen the God. No one has seen the devil. And nobody knows where they are. But we believe they do exist. Then what do they say? We have violated the laws, commandments, or the advice given by the God when we were influenced, tempted by the devil. After that, we started to create evil or harmful things, then started suffering. Suffering started from there, according to them. Influenced by devil, misled our mind, then we started to violate the advice given by the God. Today we are suffering because of that. And then they have discovered a solution. How to stop this suffering? Simply by doing good or leading a religious life or noble life. You won't be able to see the end of your suffering, according to them. Then what is the solution? You must be baptized in order to wash away the sins, the original sins committed by you. Now that is the solution. Not a bad idea for them. That is how they started to convert people, to wash away our sins. Assume I have dedicated my whole life, say, for more than 60 years, to uphold, to maintain some good principles, to lead a respectable, noble or harmless life. without harming, disturbing, bluffing others, by serving others within my capacity, within my knowledge. Still I am a sinner because they could not baptize me. So after my death I had to go to hell. For all the services that I have rendered, all the good virtues and the precepts and good qualities that I have led are useless to them. And this is the way how they try to introduce religion. On the other hand, however wicked or cruel or harmful, dangerous man I am, if I say, oh, I believe in God, please forgive all my sins, then I can go to heaven very easily. How nice. Majority here in this world believe this. Now let us find out what is the Buddhist concept, Buddhist attitude, or what did the Buddha say regarding our suffering. Who is responsible? Whether God or devil or somebody else. When we talk about the origin or the beginning of human life on this earth, every religion says God created man and woman at the beginning. But the Buddhist attitude is different. There is no beginning, but there is a temporary beginning. Appear and disappear and reappear. That is called beginning. Life appear, exist, disappear, but that is not the end. Reappear, but that is not the origin of a life. Reappearance is not the origin of a life. World system, planets, universes, galaxies appear, exist, disappear, reappear. That is not the beginning of the world system. Reappearance, continuity, relativity, interdependence of all the existing elements and energies by taking different shapes from time to time. That is called appearance. When that relationship, energy, binding factors were weakened, then disintegration, dissolution take place. Then disappear. After this disappearance, dispersed particles and energies and mental energies again combine. That is for a life. But for the planet and the world and many other things, dispersed particles, cosmic energies, but no mental energy. Cosmic energies again combine together. They have magnetic power, gravity. Again join together, take different shapes. This is the way how appearance, existence, disappearance take place. Therefore the Buddha says, this world disappears. After some time again appears. But not the whole universe. Please remember this. The whole universe never disappears at once. This is only a small particle. This earth that we live. When this one disappears, there will be millions and billions and trillions and countless world systems. In many of those places there are some living beings. So when this one disappears, all those living beings appear somewhere else, no destruction. Then what will happen? When the formation takes place again, some of those living beings in other planets, we introduce them as devas or angels or brahmas or some sort of supernatural living beings. They come down. They settle down. After that they won't be able to go back to their own hometown. They have to settle down here. That is how the humankind, no more mankind. Don't use this word mankind. Ladies are very angry. In future you must say humankind. Don't say mankind. What about woman? So humankind again started. So what others say, when they appear again, they were very pure. No evil forces, no anger, no jealousy, no grudge, no bad thoughts in their mind. Then devils appeared. These devils created temptation in the man's mind to commit evil. That is how we have learned to do bad things. We learn from devils. Now this is the way how other religions teach us. The Buddha did not agree with this belief. He knew that is not the truth. He says, there was no devils to come and create temptation in your mind at that time. Although the minds were calmed and trained and pure, but not completely, still they have certain degrees of craving, anger, jealousy, ignorance in their mind. So the circumstances, environment, the situation, again, stirred their mind. Then started to develop craving, anger, jealousy, all the evil forces in the same mind. There is no devil behind for that. Remember the difference now. The Buddha saying and what others say. The origin of sin. How sins originated in the beginning. Not influenced by devil, but created by our own mind, because we have not completely purified our mind at that time. So still going on, developing, increasing, more and more evil forces in our mind. Then they say, today we are suffering because of that original sin, because we have violated the commandment or the advice given by the God. We have listened to a devil. Otherwise, our life here on this earth becomes eternal, everlasting, immortal life. No sicknesses, no old age, no death. How nice. We can live forever. But unfortunately, since we have committed that sin, today we are facing sicknesses, old age, and death, so many other problems. To get rid of this problem, again they say, only solution is, you must ask your religious authorities to baptize you, to wash away that original sin. Then again you can become immortal and can lead the eternal life. Without depending on any religious mythologies or beliefs, use your own common sense. Don't depend on any holy book, even Buddhist book also. Throw away all your holy books. Use your common sense. That is enough. What is that? You can see not only human beings, all the other living beings who exist in this world or in this universe face the same problems that we are facing. Animals also suffer from sicknesses. They also suffer from old age. They also die. Is it due to their original sin? Why they don't know to baptize them? These cats and dogs and pigs and cows, they never convert them. Why? Because they too experience sicknesses, old age and death. They have no pity on them. Alright, forget about animals. What about the plant life? All these existing plants on this earth also experience various kind of sicknesses. They suffer from sicknesses, suffer from old age, and in the end, die. So plant life also face the same problem. Is it due to their original sin? That is why I ask you to use your common sense without depending on any holy book. Then, let us refer to the Buddha, what he says. Without depending on devil or ghost or God, he analyzed and explained the nature of existence. Whether it is human life, animal life, devas life, Brahmas or any other living beings or plant life. The nature of existence, whether in heaven or human world or hell or ghost world or animal kingdom, all are living beings. By taking different shapes, leading different way of life, but all are experiencing pain and pleasure and sicknesses and old age and death. But when we refer to Devas and Brahmas, there is some sort of difference. Our way of life and Devas and Brahmas' way of life. They do not suffer like us from sicknesses and old age. The formation, so the appearance of their life in those places appears at once, remains as they appeared without changing. That means no old age. Since the constitution or the combinations of elements or three dimensions, in our case, three dimensions, physical body, when you compare with Devas and Brahmas, their physical formation is different. Because of that, they are free from many kinds of sicknesses that we are facing, old age that we are facing. When they die, there is nothing to remain as corpse or dead body. Their life or the physical body is just like a flame of a candle or an oil lamp. Just disappears. So in that respect, in worldly sense, they are more fortunate than human beings. But they too experience the death and rebirth, appearance again. Now that is not the end of their life. When they are going to die, when they come to know, they suffer. The pleasure that they enjoy, they need no more. They worry. And they depart from that place with frustration, disappointment and unhappiness. That means before their death, they suffer. Because they have craving. After their death, they do not know their fate or their destiny. It depends on their karma, what they have accumulated. Uncertainty is there. In our case, when the Buddha talked about suffering, he used very limited words to Devas and Brahmas about suffering. Because their way of suffering is not like human suffering. But when he preached to human beings, then he says, Yātipi dukkha, jarapi dukkha, vyātipi dukkha, maranampi dukkhang, yang piccang, nalapati tampi dukkhang, appiyehi sampayogo dukkho, piyehi vipayogo dukkho, sankhittena panchupada nakkanda dukkha. This is the way how Buddha has explained dukkha, suffering. Beautiful interpretation. I'll explain word by word. Before that, you must learn the meaning of these two words. Sukha and dukkha. These are Pali and Sanskrit words. You know the meaning of these two words in this country. Su and kha. These are two words actually speaking. Su is one word. Kha is another word. Tu is another word. Kha is another word. Sukha and dukkha. But for our pronunciation we say dukkha. But the original word is dukkha. Du and kha. Meaning sukha. Pleasant feeling that we experience in the fleeting nature. Just like lightning. When lightnings occur, we want to see. Appear and disappear. No time to see you. So the sukha, the pleasure that we experience through our senses and physical body is just like the lightning. The pleasant feeling or the thrill or happiness appear, immediately disappear. After that we want to catch, to maintain, prolong, to gain again and again. Then the trouble starts from there. We become crazy for that. Our whole battle in our life depends on this dukkha. And what sort of dukkha or suffering physically and mentally we are experiencing. Various. Not sometimes 1 second or 2 seconds or 5 seconds. The pleasure that we experience short time is called sukha. What is the meaning of dukkha? Now, whenever there is any intolerable situation where there is no happiness, where there is no pleasure, at that moment we experience unpleasant feeling. This unpleasant feeling also changeable, never lasts forever. Appear and disappear, appear and disappear. You can see how mother protects her baby at the risk of her life. How she suffers physically and mentally. What sort of worry she is maintaining day and night. even after giving birth, by tolerating that intolerable pain, what sort of worries she has to maintain to look after this baby. Again, this baby who come to this world as a newcomer is not her own baby. Remember this. Mother claims, this is my baby. Father claims, this is my child. Actually, this child is not belong to both of them. They did not produce this child. They cannot produce. They have provided enough materials for that life to exist. Life came from somewhere else. They brought this child to this world, father and mother, just like a vehicle, lorry, and drop here. That is called giving birth. That is why this child maintains entirely different character, behavior, temperament, attitude, mood, not like father or mother. That is his or her own life, way of life. So this child is not belong to them, actually speaking. But they are craving, attachment, affection, love, all these things claim, this is my child. It is natural. Not only human beings, animals also. You can see how animals fight to protect their young ones. That is a universal need. It is not created purposely. Then suffering started from there. Every baby who comes to this world, the first signal that baby gives is crying. Cry. So, expressed the nature of life. Why they don't want to laugh? Have you ever seen any baby who laughs immediately after giving birth? Must cry. They say must cry. That means we come to this world to cry because of dukkha, because of suffering. No one can deny this. It is not due to original sin, that is the nature of existence. Again, every child who comes to this world brings death certificate, not the birth certificate. That means death is certain. Birth certificate is not important. To prove us that death is certain, so every child brings his or her death certificate. That is dukkha. That is suffering. Jarapi dukkha. And this child is now going on growing, developing, improving, changing. After developing, then going down and down. Can you stop this? It is not due to your original sin. That is the nature of the combinations of elements and energy. They cannot remain forever without changing. Changes must take place. There is no God, no devil behind in these changes. By praying, worshipping, offering, you cannot stop your old age. It is natural. If it is natural, your duty is to understand it, not to cry, not to worry, prepare to see the end of this suffering one day. That is why religion is needed. That is why you are here. There are various kinds of medicines, new discoveries, scientific discoveries to cure our sicknesses. But more and more new sicknesses appear from time to time in different countries, according to their way of life, food, their character, temperament and the moods and environment. These are natural. All these sicknesses create suffering. So we never experience a life where there are no sicknesses. Why sicknesses appear? Why do we experience this dukkha, this suffering? Because of the friction, clashes, imbalance, disagreement of the elements, energies in our physical body. When you go to a Chinese sensei, he examines your pulse. Then he says, oh, you have more wind, fong, or I don't know what it is. You have more fong. Because when he examines the pulse, he can understand this one jumps very fast. And he thinks the wind, this one, you got more wind in your body. That is your sickness. So there is no such sickness called wind. Wind cannot create sickness. That is his diagnosis. Another doctor says, oh, you have more heat. Your body is very heaty. That is their diagnosis. They know only these two things. But these signals, indications, appear due to some other reason, causes they cannot understand. So doctors, throughout their life, they try to cure our sicknesses. They cure one sickness, then create another sickness. When they give antibiotic, they cure one sickness, create one or two more new sicknesses. After that, they have to give another one to cure that one. But they have medicine. This is the nature of our life. Then who is responsible for these sicknesses? It is natural. The Buddha was the most holy, compassionate, religious teacher who lived on this earth. He too had to suffer from 12 kinds of sicknesses. He did not want to hide. Then he explained why I had to suffer. There he mentioned, some of our sicknesses that we are experiencing, suffering today, is due to certain bad deeds that we have done during our previous birth. Not only the present life is responsible for that, even the last birth also responsible for this. There was a doctor in America, he's a psychiatrist also, Dr. Edgar Casey. He had incurable sicknesses, condemned by many doctors, but he developed this psychic power to get into trance without depending on any god or any religion, just pure psychic power. So when he developed this, he found out the medicine through his psychic power. By using this, he could manage to get rid of his sickness. Then he thought, why not I use this to help others? When he announced, more and more people started and he consulted. So when he got into trance, to some people, he says, I am sorry. It is very difficult to cure this sickness. Because during your last birth, previous birth, you have done such bad deeds. And this is the bad effect you are experiencing. Very difficult to cure. But this man was not a Buddhist. He never studied karma, never studied rebirth. When he is normal, he doesn't know anything about karma or rebirth. But when he gets into trance, through his psychic power, he says, yes, during your last birth you have done certain bad karmas, This is the effect. In the Buddha's teaching, you can see Kamma Vipakaja Abadha. Abadha means sickness. Certain sicknesses we had to face due to our bad deeds that we have done as bad karma. Again he says, all your bad feelings, sicknesses, troubles and problems and sufferings are not due to your previous bad karma. Many of them are due to your present way of life. How you live, how you handle this physical body, what sort of food, environment, wind and heat, and your behavior, your character, your temperament, all these things create so many problems and sicknesses, not only during your previous birth, what you have done. So sicknesses are natural, but we can minimize, we can reduce many of our sicknesses if we know how to lead a normal life. We are not leading a normal life, very artificial life. So not the original sin. Then decay. Everybody likes to remain as youth, young boys and girls. When they come to know, when they see the wrinkles, what a pity. And they found out their old photograph and compare, see how handsome at that time, now don't know what is happening, something is wrong somewhere. They worry. That is called suffering. They don't like to grow old. But can you stop? You can go and pray to God or Buddha, asking him not to suffer from old age. I remember what George Bernard Shaw, a very good joker and writer, British, what he has said. He said, we were taught that we were created by God. As an old man, now I can experience how I suffer because of this old age. I really cannot understand why God cannot create us not to suffer like this. I think something is wrong somewhere in your creation. Next time, if I get the chance to come and meet you, I think I can tell you how to create. He was joking. George Bernard Shaw. This old age is a real miserable thing. You have seen how your grandmother, grandfather, your father, your mother and others, when you go to old folks' home, how they suffer. Suffer for what? Is it due to their original sin? That is the nature of existence. Nobody is responsible. Nobody is behind them. They are all. The combinations of these matters and elements remain as a bundle, now dissolving, 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 dissolving. Then the old age can be seen, noticeable. It is natural. Dukkha, that is suffering. You cannot stop this. After that, death. In spite of sicknesses, old age, troubles, problems, sufferings, difficulties, worries, still you like to live. You don't like to die. Every day and night crying and worrying and accusing, complaining about your pain. But still you want to live. Live for what? Nobody knows. A craving is so grave in our mind. I can remember many years ago, I was invited to bless a very old lady who was about to die. But she was fully conscious, can talk, But doctors say very, very uncertain, today or tomorrow, kick the bucket. So I was invited. After my chanting, very old lady, I think about 8 years old, she called her husband and whispered, told him something. And I thought, she's asking her husband to give a donation to the temple. After this blessing, say that is their usual custom, Then, but the man kept quiet, he's keeping quiet. Then I asked, what did she say? She says, 3 days ago, she brought the social welfare lottery's ticket and asked me to find out whether there's any prize, She remembered the date, This dying lady, see the nature of craving. Even at that moment, we are not willing to give up. This is one of the reasons why we suffer. We have to suffer. In the end, the Buddha pointed out, what is the cause? Where is the mistake for all our suffering? I will mention later. He discovered it. Who is responsible for our suffering? Who creates all this suffering? He pointed out. Nothing to do with God or devil or ghost. So we don't like to die. Why we don't like to die? It is not that death is miserable. Death is not painful. We create our own imagination. We are scared of death, thinking that it is painful. Remember, death is not painful. Very easy to die. I remember another lady, Bansa area. I was invited to go and bless this lady, also a very old lady. When I entered into the room, she paid respect and very cheerful, smiling face, and she was listening to the chanting. When I was chanting, I was watching. Believe me, so her hands were like this, folded hands, she was listening. When I was reciting half of the Ratana Sutta, then I saw Sudhabis. Gone. No indication. The struggling. Dead. There's one Catholic lady. Her brother is a Catholic bishop, she told me. She told to her, actually this is a miracle. She told me she had never seen a person who died so peacefully without any kind of suffering or excitement or worry. Death is not miserable, but we create it. They want to carry it to the next world also. This is called real ignorance. Real ignorance. Because of this craving, we don't want to die. That is why we suffer. Again we think, I have my family, my wife, my husband, my children. How to die? How can I separate? How can I go away? They suffer because of that. I have beautiful house, valuable things, land, lot of bank account. How to die? I have position here in the society. I lose all these things if I depart from this world. As long as we maintain such belief, we cannot die peacefully. We suffer from death earlier. Every day when we think of death, we suffer because we don't want to die. When after the renunciation, when there are no more attachment, craving, inclination towards anything, we are not scared of death. Any moment we are ready to depart from this world. Australian Buddhist scholar. His name is Mr. David Morris. He has written Buddhist books also. One day I received a letter from him, from Australia. In his letter he says, Reverend Sir, I hope you will be very happy to know that I died today. Then he explained two reasons. First thing, I am 85 years old, have been suffering from a cancer for the last 5 years, and after my death, I will be free from this particular suffering. That is one of the reasons why you should be happy. Second reason, ever since becoming a Buddhist, I did not violate the 5 precepts. I tried my best to uphold all the 5 precepts. If there is another life after my death, that life cannot become a miserable one. Therefore, I believe I can reduce my suffering in the next life. This is the second reason why you should be happy. See the way how he defines. They are not scared of death. They are waiting to face. Another well-known writer, British, Francis Story, I think you have read some of his books. Very good writer. Scientifically, he explained the Dhamma. He had a very painful sickness, bone cancer, in London hospital. Every 3-4 hours, doctors used to give him painkiller injection. Intolerable pain. When he come to know that his days were numbered, limited, he asked the doctors not to give painkiller injection. Then the doctors asked why. He says, we always talk about suffering. We write, we preach, we talk. Mostly theoretically. But when we experience the nature of real suffering, then we can understand what it is. That is the only way to reduce our craving, only way to reduce our attachment, by realizing the nature of pain and suffering. Allow me to face this pain. Then I can reduce my craving. He tolerated, he faced this suffering to train his mind. See the way how he tested the Buddha's teaching. They can understand. So we always talk about suffering. When suffering comes to us, we go mad. We ask why it is like why? Who is going to answer? It is natural. By knowing all these problems, the Buddha says, in the end of this discourse, the more you exist, whether as humans or animals or spirits or ghosts or devas or brahmas or any other kind of living being, the more you had to suffer, the more you had to face disappointment in your life, the more you had to grumble, the more you had to fight for your survival. Every second throughout your life, you are fighting with your life for your survival. Everything that you do as you're living is fighting with your death. It is a big battle. You are eating and you are sleeping, you are walking, you are taking exercise, and everything you do to avoid death. Keep away from death, otherwise death can take place very easily. But in the end, who will win the battle, whether death or you win the battle. That's why I told you it is a losing battle. We fight, but in the end we have to surrender. But don't create disappointment, frustration. Strengthen your mind. And this is natural. If you want to exist, if you want to live, we must face this. We are not at liberty to stay here free of charge. Remember this. This body is the house. We occupied this house and living here without paying any rent. Do you pay house rent? No. In terms of sufferings and pains and ache, you are paying your house rent. Not in terms of dollars. Of course, you have to spend dollars for your medicine. So suffering is the rent you have to pay for occupying this house, this body. So you cannot occupy this house to live peacefully without suffering. This is the nature. So indirectly the Buddha says this. It is not original sin. Then Yampichang nalabati sampi dukkha. Again the Buddha says, whenever we could not gain what we want, suffering. We cannot get one particular girlfriend, suffering. One particular boyfriend, suffering. Then, Sankittena panchupadanakkhandha dukkha. In brief, he summarized. All these five aggregates joined together as a bundle. Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. Five. Aggregate. Elements and energies. All the elements, one group. All the mental energies, another group. Four groups, mental faculties, four groups, elements. 8. These 8 joined together. This is one bundle. All the 8 groups are here. When we develop our attachment towards these elements, towards our mental faculties, this attachment, this inclination creates suffering. We do everything to console, to satisfy, to please these things, but no satisfaction. This is nature. So it is due to our ignorance we go on accusing, blaming others, God or devils or charms or black magic or this or that. We spend so much money, but we don't want to face facts. We don't want to think. We don't want to understand why life is like this. There is no life without suffering. Then, actually speaking, what sort of human life is there? Are they human beings or animals? Sometimes animals have more cooperation and understanding to live together. But so-called humans are very unfortunate. No harmony, no unity, no love, no attachment towards each other among the same family members. Suffering. Cannot see face to face. Suffering. So what is the meaning or what is the big idea of that type of life? Every minute we create bad karma. Hatred, ill will, grudge, jealousy, anger, disturbances. Boiling in the mind. What sort of human life is that? Suffering. Then, categorize into three groups, our dukkha, our suffering, throughout our life. One group is called dukkha, one group. Another group is called sankhara dukkha. Another group is called viparinama dukkha. Very meaningful. When you read that path of purification, Visuddhi Magga, you can get more details about these three kinds of suffering, how we are experiencing them.